Okay, this is a quick tutorial on your PaintPot application. So as we notice here on our main web page under Home, Schedule Week 1, we have these tutorials here. We're going to be coding PaintPot here in this tutorial, Part 1. So when we open up that link, it takes us to the instruction piece here. I would like for you to read through this and make sure you understand what this program is doing. I will skim through it as I code, otherwise this video will be very, very long. But basically what you're going to be creating is an application in which you're able to dip your finger into a virtual paint pot and draw that color. We will have the colors red, blue, and green available. At this time you can add more if you want after we're done. Drag your finger along the screen to draw a line. So we'll be drawing lines. We will tap the screen to make dots. We will have a white button to clean the screen, and we'll have an image as a background for the drawing. This tutorial assumes that you've finished the Hello Per, so we're adding on to your base knowledge. This tutorial will introduce the App Inventor concepts of the canvas component for drawing, controlling screen layouts with arrangement components, event handlers that take arguments, and variables. So before you're starting, make sure that your computer and your mobile device are set up on the same Wi-Fi. If you want to go to this link here, it does help you with setting up your App Inventor. But based on these recommendations here, option one is by far the most recommended, and it is easiest to do. What you need to do is you need to make sure that your laptop and your Android device are on the same Wi-Fi system, and that you have downloaded the App Inventor companion app from your Google Play Store. So this is your MIT AI App Inventor 2 companion. So this is how you will link your tablet, your phone, to your laptop so that you can have a user interface for the code that you're creating on your laptop in the App Inventor program. So you'll have two options here: either connect with a code, which is type in the text box here, or scan a QR code scanner. So either way links your device to your project. So make sure that you're ready to go with that before you begin. Right here, we are going to begin coding up your PaintPot project. We will have a title, which will be PaintPot. We'll have a screen, and we'll have a title of the screen as far as calling it PaintPot. So let's set up our project. So we're going to have a new project here. So under projects, I'm going to start a new project. I'm going to call it VSU PaintPot. And I think I have an original one, so I made a second one. This here is your user interface. It's pretty blank. We have our App Inventor program, which has our palette, all of our tools available, the viewer, which the user will see, the components we are using, the properties of our components, and then we have our blocks designer. We don't have anything in there at this time. If we look over there, there are no components other than our screen. Now, it did mention in the instructions that the first screen will be named Screen 1, as it is here, and you cannot rename that screen. However, you are able to add additional screens, and then you can name those as you see fit. And then you can link those two together. So screen 1 can move into screen 2. So there, back to our instructions, we have our project beginning. We need to set up our components here. The components for the PaintPot project: 3 buttons, a red, a blue, and a green button. We'll have a canvas. The canvas has a background image with a kitty on it. Let's get to, and then a horizontal arrangement in which the 3 buttons line up side by side. So all of that done, we also need to name the buttons. So the buttons will be named red, blue, and green as the text appears. But the components, we're going to name them button red, button blue, button green. All right, let's build that, and we will see how far that gets us. Okay, so first off, we're going to have our buttons. We're going to have 3 different buttons here, so dragging in your buttons. 1, 2, 3. So back to button 1. It says button 1. We're going to rename this to button red. We're going to rename this one to button, let's do green. And we're going to name this one to blue. Rename this one to button Now the text still appears the same on there, so under properties for our buttons, let's go button red. We're going to change the text for that to read red. Now we want to make the background of that button kind of pop, make it red, it makes it easier for the user to see that one. Okay, so our next button is a green button. So we've renamed that. We want to make the background color of that button green. And we want to change the text to match up. No. Green. And finally, our blue button. Let's put the background as blue. And the text should also read blue. But I'm seeing that it being black on blue is hard for me to read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the text color to white. Or yellow works too. White's what I was going for. White, just something that's going to be enough of a contrast that I'm able to see the text with the background being blue. Okay, the next piece is that we're going to do a layout with a horizontal arrangement. And it says here that we want to make sure that the width is fill parent so that it fills that up. And then we're going to drag our buttons into that arrangement. Drag them in. Now they are tucked up nice and neat up at the top. And next piece is that we need to put in a canvas here. So under drawing and media, we want to put a canvas in. Now let's check the specs to see what size canvas we want. So we have dragged our canvas in. We have a horizontal arrangement. Let's see. So with our canvas, we want to set its width to fill parent and its height to 300. So canvas. Let's rename this to drawing canvas. And we want to, again, its width is fill parent and its height was 300 pixels. And we're going to put a background image of that kitty so that we see that picture there. We should have that kitty saved somewhere because we did that for our Hello Per project. So somewhere in I should have pictures, downloads. Wonder where I put that. Anyways, I will. Okay, there. We haven't chosen a file. So right now in our instructional piece, we do have that kitty PNG file. So I'm going to select that. I don't know why I didn't download that. So we're going to save image, and then you're going to be able to have access to that. This is in. I'm going to actually just put this right here in pictures, make it easy for me to get to kitty. Okay, so now then go back into your App Inventor project on your canvas, your background image. Let's go to see if I can find that now. Pictures, there it is. Okay. No. There it is. Okay. Here's where we are at now. We need to then add in a button wipe at the bottom here. And we named it, just to rename it, button wipe. So let's put that in next. Underneath your user interface, you're going to grab a button, drag it to the bottom down here. We're going to rename it button wipe. And we're going to have the text on there read something like clear or wipe. Great. Okay, event handlers. So when we hit a button, it is an event, and we need to program, we need to come up with what's going to happen or how the program is going to handle the event that we are asking it to handle. So when we hit a button that says red, that is the event, and we need to handle that with programming so that the response is what the user expects. So right now we're going to be able to flip into our block handler, our block portion of our App Inventor project, and start coding up the buttons. So we have a button red. We're going to change the drawing canvas paint color to red. So let's go and try to go into that. So we have our user interface. We're going to go into our blocks editor. We have our buttons here. So when I hit my button, when button 1 is clicked, we need to handle that. We want to set the background, set background color. Is that the one we want? Let's see, no, we want to set the paint color. Okay, that's fine. There is a drop-down feature here, so we have all of our methods that are available. I believe that we should be able to find, not there. So let's go back in our drawing oh, sorry, it was our drawing canvas. I was looking in the wrong spot. So we need to set the paint color, and it's right here. So if we needed to, again, that drop-down feature is nice. We have all of the methods that are available for the drawing canvas on that drop-down feature there. So we are supposed to hit, okay, when the person hits the red button, that's the event. It is handled by changing the paint color to, let's go with red. Perfect. So we have an event and it has been handled at this point in time. I'm going to need to create this same event handler for the blue button as well. So I'm just going to duplicate this method. But we have these X's popping up because what we're asking to do is we have the same event, but it's going to be handled in 3 different ways possibly. And that's not okay. So when an event happens, it has to be handled the same way consistently. So this we need to change around. So instead of having it saying button red, we're going to do button green, and the paint color will then be a green color as well. Same thing here. Now then, that method is clear. Let's do our next one here, button red. We're changing it to button blue, and we're changing the color that is drawn to a blue. Great. Now let's work on our white button. We're going to call the canvas to be cleared. So when I hit my white button, button white, when I click that, we're going to clear our canvas. And it should be right here, drawing canvas clear. Okay, let's go back to our instructional piece. Right, now we're going to be handling the fact we need to be drawing now on our application. So we have 2 different possibilities. We have when we touch the canvas, it is going to draw a circle. And when we drag on the canvas, it is going to draw a line. So that's the difference between the two. So when we're touching it, we're just simply placing a circle. Here's what that method looks like. When my drawing canvas dot touched happens, that's the event, I'm going to call my method to draw a circle on my canvas. This X and Y coordinates are going to be picked up by the user wherever their finger is placed on that canvas. It's going to find the X and Y coordinates, and it's going to draw a circle with a radius of 5 and to fill it being true. Now, the difference between the fill, true, and false is that if it is true, it fills the circle, and if it is false, it just draws the circle. So instead of having it filled in. Let's do our draw touch, our canvas touch, and our canvas drag methods next. Okay, so remember, when we are touching this, we are simply going to be drawing a circle. So let's see if we have that available here, right here. Drawing canvas, draw circle. Perfect. Now, we get these X and Y's from this method right here. So this will grab us our X. Here is our Y. And the instructions said that we should just hard code a radius of 5 at this point in time for every circle that gets drawn by this handler. So 5 there. Great. Now we need to do our drag method. So when the drawing canvas is dragged, we have a lot of things going on here. We are drawing a line when this happens, when we're dragging from current to previous to current. we're going to be drawing a line doing that. So we're going to go back in here and grab in the method to draw a line. So a line is just a connection between 2 points. We have our x and y1 and our x and y2. So this drag method just connects the points between our x and y1 and our x and y2. The way we get those points are that we have a previous location and a current location. So we have, for x, we have our previous x. Get previous x and get previous y. For our x2, y2, those are going to be our current. Get current x and get current y. Okay, so then we have our two methods. We have lots going on here. We have a lot of events taking place, a lot of things being handled. We have buttons, we have a wipe, we have a touched method, and we have a drag method. Let's take a look at our instructional piece here. So we have that completed. We have our drag event taking place. And so at this point in time, we should kind of see what is taking place. This is part 1. I'm going to connect up my emulator, and we'll see how that works out here. There's my emulator. I need to refresh it. And connect, reset, connect, emulator. This might take a little bit, so I'm going to pause the video until it's ready. Okay, so my emulator is up and running. We have our PaintPot project right here. So we should be able to do a couple things here. When we hit red, we're able to draw a red line. And when we touch the screen, we're doing dots. So there's a drag that does the line and a touch that does a dot. So here's my drag method, drawing a green line. Here's my touch method, being able to touch and draw pieces like that. So the same thing with blue. And then check my white button. There we go. So let's double check our specs real quick, make sure we're finished. Everything should be working well. And that is your PaintPot Part 1 quick little tutorial.